I never thought the smell of turkey and sage could make me want to vomit, but that Thanksgiving it did. The house on Maple Crest Drive looked exactly the same as it had every November for the last 32 years. Strings of orange lights my mother refused to update, the same chipped pilgrim candles on the mantel, Dad's jazz playlist looping through the living room like a hostage situation. I stood in the foyer with a bottle of decent Pinot and a forced smile, feeling the familiar tug of muscle memory. Kick off shoes here, hang coat there, pretend everything is fine. "Alex," Mom sang from the kitchen, the way she always did, as if my arrival were the surprise highlight of her year. She appeared in the doorway wearing the red apron I'd bought her in college, the one that said "World's Okayest Mom" as a joke she never quite understood. She hugged me too tight, too long. "You're late." "Traffic on 95 was murder," I lied. I'd actually sat in my car 3 blocks away for 20 minutes, rehearsing how I'd finally say the thing I'd been swallowing since I was 19. My older brother, Ryan, was already at the dining table, sleeves rolled up, carving the turkey with theatrical precision. He looked good, tanned, gym lean, the golden child glow undimmed at 35. His wife, Claire, arranged side dishes like she was staging a magazine shoot. Their twins, Harper and Hudson, chased each other around the legs of the table, shrieking. Dad clapped me on the back. "There he is. The prodigal graphic designer returns." I laughed because that's what you do. Ryan smirked. "Still freelancing, little bro? Brave in this economy." I bit the inside of my cheek and poured wine. Dinner unfolded like a play we'd all memorized. Mom asked Ryan about his promotion, 3rd one in 4 years. Dad bragged about the twins' private kindergarten wait list. Nobody asked me about the mural I'd just finished for the Children's Hospital, or the fact that I'd finally paid off my student loans. That was fine. I was used to being background scenery. Then came dessert. Mom set the pumpkin pie down with a flourish and said almost casually, "So, we have news." Ryan's eyes flicked to her, then to Dad. Claire suddenly became very interested in wiping Harper's face. Dad cleared his throat. "Your mother and I have decided to sell the beach house." The beach house. The one Grandma left me in her will when I was 12. The one with the crooked blue shutters and the porch swing that creaked like it was telling secrets. The one I'd spent every summer of my childhood painting watercolors while Grandma taught me how to see light. She'd died when I was 21, and the lawyer had read her letter aloud. "To my Alexander, who notices things the rest of the world walks past, may this house always be your refuge." I set my fork down carefully. "Sell it?" Mom waved a dismissive hand. "It's too much upkeep, honey. The taxes alone." "But it's mine," I said, voice small. "Grandma left it to me." Silence rippled around the table like someone had dropped a stone in still water. Ryan exhaled through his nose. "Technically, yes, but you've never paid a dime toward it. Mom and Dad have covered everything for 11 years, insurance, repairs, that new roof after the hurricane." Dad nodded solemnly, as if this were a court of law. "We're not monsters, Alex. We're giving you a choice. You can buy us out for what we've put in, roughly $280,000, or we sell to a developer who's already made an offer. Cash. Clean. $280,000 I didn't have." I stared at them, the people who'd raised me, and felt something inside me calcify. "You knew," I said to Ryan. "You all planned this." Claire at least had the grace to look away. Mom reached for my hand. "Sweetie, we're doing this for the family. Ryan and Claire need a bigger place, and with the twins starting school, so you're taking my inheritance to buy them a McMansion?" My voice cracked on the last word. "Don't be dramatic," Ryan said. "You barely visit the place. When was the last time you were even down there, 2 years ago? Because I've been working 60-hour weeks to stay afloat while you climb the corporate ladder on Dad's connections." Dad's face hardened. "Watch your tone." I laughed, a sharp, ugly sound. "No, I think I'm done watching anything." I stood so fast, my chair tipped backward and clattered against the hardwood. The twins stopped running. Mom's mouth opened, closed. Ryan rolled his eyes like I was a toddler mid-tantrum. That's when my phone buzzed. A text from Lena. "You okay in there? Need extraction?" Lena. My best friend since sophomore year of college, the one person who'd listened without judgment when I confessed years ago that I always felt like a guest in my own family. She'd offered to wait outside tonight, just in case things go full soap opera. I hadn't expected to need her. I looked at my parents, at my brother who wouldn't meet my eyes, and felt the weight of every time I'd bitten my tongue, every birthday check I'd cashed without asking where the money really came from, every "be grateful" lecture. "I'm not signing anything," I said quietly. "And I'm not paying you for my own house." Mom's eyes filled, weaponized tears, I realized now. "Alex, you're upset. Sleep on it." "I've slept on it for 32 years. I walked out. No slammed door, no parting shot, just the soft click of the latch behind me. Lena's Honda idled at the curb, hazards blinking. She rolled the window down. "Get in, loser. We're going to the beach." It was a 4-hour drive to the Outer Banks, made longer by the rain that started somewhere past Richmond. Lena drove while I stared out at the windshield wipers and replayed every conversation I could remember about the house. The way Mom always changed the subject when I mentioned going down to paint, how Dad offered to handle the taxes this year too, every spring. Ryan's offhand comments about how the place was wasted on me. "They've been planning this for years," I whispered somewhere near Emporia. "They waited until I was stable enough not to fall apart completely, but not stable enough to fight them legally." Lena reached over and squeezed my knee. "Then we fight them." We arrived at the beach house just after 2 in the morning. The key was still under the fake rock by the steps, another sign they hadn't expected me to show up unannounced. Inside smelled like salt and old books and Grandma's lavender sachets. I walked through the dark rooms touching things like they might vanish. The scarred kitchen table where I'd learned to mix cerulean with burnt umber. The window seat where Grandma told me it was okay to want things just for myself. Lena made tea while I sat on the porch swing, listening to the ocean argue with the shore. At dawn, I called the lawyer who'd handled Grandma's estate. He sounded older, surprised to hear from me. "Your parents came by last year," he said carefully. "They asked about transferring the deed into a trust for tax purposes, they said. I told them I'd need your signature." I closed my eyes. "They forged it?" A pause. "I can't prove that without seeing the document. But the signature, it didn't look like the one on file from when you were 21. I hung up and threw up over the railing. Lena found me there an hour later, shaking with rage and grief and something that felt dangerously like freedom. "What now?" she asked. I looked out at the gray Atlantic, waves erasing footprints as fast as they appeared. "Now," I said. "I change the locks, and I stop asking permission to take up space in my own life." The sun broke through the clouds, weak but honest. I didn't have a plan yet. Lawyers were expensive, and my savings were thin. But for the first time, the next step wasn't silence. My phone buzzed again. A text from Mom. "We need to talk. This is breaking your father's heart." I turned it face down on the railing. Let it break, I thought. Maybe then there'll be room for something new to grow. The ocean kept roaring its approval, and for once I didn't apologize for listening.